We have Ricky Thornton Jr., your 55th World 100 winner, Dale McDowell and Nick Hoffman flanking him to his left and right. RT, I'm going to start with you. You said something interesting to me when you came in the media center. You said, I don't remember, it was 5 laps to go, 10 laps to go, and I think you said Dale pulled alongside of me. So, well, he's going to win. It's over. Did you really believe that at one point you were not going to win this World 100?
I really did. I don't know. I felt like I got a really good start, and then I got in turn one, got a little tight, and then Dale got next to me, and I'm like, well, if you know Dale, like he's going to roll right around the bottom. And I was like, man, I just gave this thing away. And I got a really good run off turn 2 and was like luckily able to clear him. And then I actually started running a little bit lower after that. I think I was trying to just almost carry too much momentum like I had been through traffic. And I think moving around helped me and actually picked up a little bit of speed.
You coming into this race, presumably a lot of talk about the 49, right? He's dominated Eldora. Bobby Pierce won the World 100 and the Dirt Track World Championship. I think most people would agree you're right there, number 3 or 2.5 behind them this year. I want your honest opinion. Did you have like a little bit of a chip on your shoulder coming into Eldora? Like, shit, man, we've had a really good year. I think we can win the World 100 too.
Yes and no. I feel like every time I come, like I'm really good at prelim nights, but then I struggle and I'm like a 5th to 10th place car come Saturday. And I think it's probably more me just overthinking stuff and thinking we need to take our car one way, and tonight we went the other way, and it was way better. So I think probably I had a little chip just because you see all the headlines, you hear all the announcers and everything else. And it's like, man, like I'm not even good enough to even get talked about here. So I'd say a little bit of a chip, and you can't ever really count yourself out, obviously. And I just felt like if I did my job right and set the car up right, we were going to be in good shape.
Dale, you tell me. Too many yellows at the end? What happened at the end there?
I think so. I was gaining on them. I don't know. When you get there, you don't know, what it'll do with air. But I was kind of running a different line, and so I didn't think. I thought maybe the cautions would help me, but it didn't. I couldn't get refired. It's like the tires glazed up a little bit or something, and I couldn't get going. It took me a little bit to get going, and when I rolled under Ricky, I just couldn't pull off the corner like I needed to, or I would have had to wash out into him, when I did it, and that's just not how we race each other. So I kind of pinched it off and tried to pull off the bottom, and it didn't. It wouldn't. So I did everything that I could do behind the wheel, and Shane will take notes. And man, these things are so tedious here. You make this little bitty changes, and it changes a lot. And so he worked his tail off all weekend. So I'm proud to be here. You get a little, like I'm a bridesmaid, but I can't complain because we don't race a full schedule. And to race with these guys, man, there's just the top racers in the country are here. And so what we do, and to be up here, I'm pleased for myself and the guys do a good job. Crew guys do a good job.
Last one for me, and then I'm going to turn it over to everybody in here. Nick, I can feel your disappointment. I can feel it from the podium. But can you look back at it all and say we went from guy who runs here a decent bit to you're a bona fide Eldora contender now? Like, does that at least take solace in that a little bit?
Yeah, just get to the point where I expect more out of myself, I guess. And our car was really good. I tightened up a little bit more tonight than I did the last 2 nights, and I was almost worried that I was going to be too tight, and I was actually the opposite. Whether, I don't know what happened there in the midpoint of the race, kind of like what Dale said, it's like I almost glazed my stuff up on one of those restarts and fell back to, I think, 6th, then kind of had to try and battle back, and just got myself where I was just a little too free. And then we had that last restart, and I was able to restart on the outside and rolled a second. I was able to clear Dale, and I felt like he was at that point kind of loose, and I felt like he was kind of vulnerable at that point, and kind of almost rolled up to him. And then about a lap later, I got myself where I was the same way, like loose, and couldn't stick the corner like I needed to. And then Dale drives back by me. He was running way lower than us, and was able to hug that inside wall really nice and beat me off the corner. So it just got to the point where I just wasn't good enough, and it's just what it all boils down to.
Turn it over to everybody else in the room. Kevin Kovac, go ahead.
Hey, Ricky, go back a little bit, like to when you got the lead. I mean, lap 37, you're running 4th on a restart. Couple restarts later, you make a move to pass JD for the lead. Kind of go back and explain how that all worked out.
Yeah, so I was 4th behind Nick. Nick was 3rd, and I felt like Nick had way better pace than I did. And he started battling Madden there, and then Madden slid him. The yellow came out, and I just got a really good restart, and I actually stayed kind of high. And then we got another restart, and I felt like I I had a good enough run where I actually entered turn one and never had to lift off the throttle. I think at that point JD was more worried about Madden and making sure to block Madden's air, so that let me get to second. And then we got another restart probably 2 or 3 laps later, and I was able to get a really good start, so Madden couldn't swing all the way, or so JD couldn't swing all the way out. And he kind of entered in the middle, and I thought he was going to slide me, and he ended up not sliding me until like we got all the way to the back straightaway. And I'm like, well, I got a good enough run here. If I can slide him, and the odds are he's going to cross me over and get the lead back down the front straightaway. And I felt like I did a good enough job, or whenever I slid him, I didn't really kill any momentum. So then I was able to keep my pace going off of 4 and really race him into 1, and then just kind of did the next couple laps moving around, just trying to more block his air, so that way he couldn't get back by me. And then we got up front, and the nice part here, like obviously you can look at the board going down the front straightaway and kind of tell where the guy behind you, how close he is and stuff like that. And I was just trying to set a good pace after that, and not really abuse my tires. I felt like the dream, I was pretty good, and I was second, I was third, and I went almost too hard too early, and then faded really bad at the end. So I was just trying to set a good enough pace where if we did have a bunch of yellows the last half quarter, that I'd have enough tires to be able to restart.
You brought a brand new car here for the first time also. How does this factor into your success, and do you now have an Eldora car?
I mean, that was kind of our plan. We built a brand new car. We've had it since I think March, and really my other 2 cars have been really good. So we just haven't ever got it out. And the hard part is we race for so much money everywhere we go that it's hard to bring out a new car and just think, okay, like if we can have this bad night, but if back of your head it's a 25 or 30 or 50,000 to win race. So luckily we had the Baltus on Sunday. We were able to come and shake things down, and we actually found a couple problems. So I was able to do that and figured. But this week not being Lucas Points, if Sunday went good, we were going to keep racing it, and everything went well. So I think we'll get back to the shop, clean it, and it'll sit until a dirt track.
Dale is somebody who's been coming here for a long time. When you look at these 2 young guys to your right, and you and I talked, we know you're a little closer to the end of your career than you are the beginning of your career.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have the money that these guys are racing for? This crowd here tonight, Eldora Speedway, sells out for the first time ever. Do you just want to kind of turn to these young guys and go, man, this is what arguably is the golden age of dirt late model racing right now? Try to impart this wisdom on these guys after a record-breaking weekend like this?
Well, the product is good, and these guys, we got to give it to, the promoters all over the United States that they go race, and the car owners, we couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without the people, and the talent is unbelievable. I mean, when I'm not racing, I'm at home watching, and it's never a dull moment, and so they put on a heck of a show. And I talked to Tony a minute ago, and he said they were lined up a mile and a half, down with it sold out. So I don't know how many people got here that couldn't get in. But it is amazing for that crowd, and we can notice it out there in the cars when you look up, when they got their lights and stuff on. It's amazing, from our viewpoint, when they got their phones and stuff out, and so it is to race in front of this crowd and the best race car drivers in the country. I mean, I've raced for a long time. The competition level, I say it all the time, the competition level is so close and so good, and the talent's so good. It's just awesome to be a part of.
Ricky, I think you're starting to cement yourselves as one of the great race car drivers in the country, and your career is ascending. But as well as anybody, if you don't get a globe, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it kind of doesn't matter. How good does it feel to check that box now that you have a globe trophy?
I mean, I honestly feel like you could win every race but Eldora and be like, he's not good enough to win Eldora, so he's not a great race car driver. I mean, you get tired of hearing, now you're good, but you can't get it done there. Like you said, either the 49 and 32, Dale, like there's so many other guys that have had really good success here, and really I feel like that's where people look at a career. Like if you can win at Eldora, then you really did something. So it was nice to finally get one.
Any other questions for anybody else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rhonda.
Yeah, Rhonda. I just had a question about the 100 lappers. Ricky, I know last year Jordan said this is the first 100 lapper he ever did, and just getting used to that. How many have all of you done, and do you just feel each time that you understand it better? You get better.
I feel like we run so many 100 lappers a year that you kind of run the first 20 laps kind of hard, and then you pace yourself for the next 30, 40 laps, and really just try to put yourself in a good position for the last half of the race. And I don't know. I feel like that's kind of how tonight was. Like I felt like the pace, we were going really hard, and then all of a sudden, like everyone was like 3 seconds slower, and then all of a sudden everyone took back off again.
Kevin, one more. Yep.
Ricky, how much do you study, Dale and JD and all these guys that have had so much success here? Do you do a lot of video or anything? What do you do to like learn what they do?
I would say for me, it's kind of like being a football player. You study their race cars. You see where they're better than you and where you need to get better overall. And like I feel like anytime we come here, JD's car steers better than anyone's. And whenever he does steer, he's not hung out. So we work on that a lot. Obviously, Dale's car is always going to be free enough where he can roll around the bottom. He's never pushed across the racetrack or anything like that. And I feel like that Nick's car was pretty much the same way this week. He could kind of go wherever he needed to. And I think all of us probably do the same thing. You go back and you watch videos. You see a million different photos with different angles and everything else, and just try to get your car as best as you can get it.
Before tonight, what did you consider to be your signature career win?
I feel like probably my signature career win was probably the dirt track at Portsmouth, just because it was early in my career as far as late model wise. So this one is probably a little more special. Just I got to race JD, I got to race Madden, I got to race Nick. Luckily, I didn't have to race Dale. Otherwise, for where he started, I think Dale started on the front row. It probably would have been a snoozer, honestly.
I don't know. I don't think I can win here. A big one. It's this close, but it is racing with these guys. You're messing with depth perception and watching when they're out there. So you'll change your lineup consistently through. I watch these guys do it, and that's part of the learning curve. I mean, Nick was really balanced all weekend, and so you watch what they do and how they can maneuver and that's like what Ricky said. That's what you shoot for to try to get your car. I mean, that's what we worked toward all weekend. I know he and his guys did the same thing, and Nick's car's been balanced really, really well all weekend too. So no surprise. You can watch the first couple of nights and see how guys are, and what they're working toward. But it is tough. I mean, and when it gets slick out there, the least little bit of change kind of kills your momentum, and you can see it on lap times. So it's tough. So it's a heck of an accomplishment to win this thing for sure.
You guys are going to find this hard to believe. Kevin Kovac has one more question he'd like to ask.
Ricky, what did it feel like being up on that stage and looking out and seeing all those people? I mean, there was a million people taking pictures. Had to be pretty cool.
It was awesome. It feels like one of those, like almost like it's your first win all over again, just because there's so many people here and the crowd's so loud, whether cheering, booing, whatever. There's 50 photographers up there, so I go back to my 14-year-old self, and that's where you always wanted to be. You wanted to be a race car driver. You wanted to be there on the top step, and I'm going to cherish it for a while.